Hi guys, so in this video I will teach you 2 words that will completely change how you deal with conflict and will definitely improve your life quality, because I really believe that's what they did to me when I learned to use them. My name is Frederick and my mission is to help people like you to live a more fulfilled and happy life. So before I tell you these 2 magical words, I will tell you a story. This is the first time I used them for good and where I was very conscious about why I used these 2 words. So back in Denmark, I used to make gardens for people and I was working. Sometimes we had to block the road, sometimes brief because we had a lot of materials and sometimes some big machines. So yeah, this was a normal situation. We were on a villa street and there was 3 houses down the road, so it was not a lot of traffic and the chance that someone would come pretty low. So I had to block the road and I could move myself away in about 30 seconds. So I thought, okay, this is fair. If anyone comes, they can wait these 30 seconds. But while I was blocking the road, the neighbor to my customer came home. I could just see her eyes while she were in the car that she wanted to really argue with me. Sometimes people come at you super angry and super mad at you, and she drove up to me before I got a chance to move myself away from the road, and she just stepped out of the car with this look in her eyes where she was about to yell at me, and I knew that. So she yelled at me why should I block the road and I just have to get away, and we were always making so much noise and filling the road, and we had been at this location for 2 days at this point, so we were being reasonable. But I remembered that I had heard somewhere that 2 words could really change a situation like this. So she was really mad at me and I listened to her, what her problem was, and when she finished yelling at me, I looked at her, smiled, and sincerely said to her these 2 words: thank you. Thank you for being honest. Thank you for telling me how you feel and what your problems are. And she just completely changed when I said these words. She expected a conflict, and instead of being mad at her, I simply thanked her for, she was yelling at me and she was really mad at me, but saying thank you completely changed her mood. And I wasn't thank you. No, I sincerely meant it, and I looked at her with honesty, and her mood just completely changed because she wasn't ready for a thank you. She expected a conflict here. I don't know why she came out so mad. Maybe she had a bad week or a bad day at the office. It was Friday, it was up to a weekend, so maybe she could have had a rough week. But after I said thank you to her, I really honestly appreciated that she told me about her problems, because then I could help her get rid of them, help her fix the problems. Right now she had problems with me blocking the road and having materials everywhere, and she told me she had visitors in the weekend and she wanted to be space on the street for them to park, and I'd say that's fair. So I kindly talked to her and listened to her problems and found a solution with her. And that sounds all good, but I don't think it would have been possible if I didn't start with just saying thank you. Even though she was mad at me, I didn't yell back, I didn't get angry. I tried to listen to her and really get her reasons why she was like this, and try to be compassionate and kind, and also honest and sincere about my thank you to her. So after a few minutes of talking and we came to an agreement on how much space she needed and how much space I needed, she went back into her car and actually had a smile on her face. So instead of bringing up a conflict with her, just starting out listening to her and thanking her for telling me her problems, I really changed the situation and how she reacted. So it was just really, really awesome and cool to experience a situation like this, and to actually see how just 2 words can change the whole outcome. I wanted to tell you the story because I think it's really, really important lesson to actually listen to people and appreciate that they tell you about their problems. They kind of trust you enough to sometimes yell at you, and sometimes their problems can come out in a bad way. But if you try and listen, it's maybe it's about you, but then you can do something about it. Maybe the problem is something else. But listening and be honest about how much you appreciate that they say out their problems really just change how people see you and people act afterwards. So the two magical words, thank you, they can be misused, they can be sarcastic, and that's not what we're going for. Like, you have to be honest and sincere about why you appreciate them. So you have to know why you appreciate people talking to you. Like, you can say things like, thank you for being passionate. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to help you. Thank you for sharing your problems. And thank you for telling me how you feel about the problem, or how you feel about me. Can you see there's a lot of different ways to say a really good thank you? And from my experience, it's a game changer in conflict. It just has so much power to appreciate other people, even though they come at you sometimes in a very bad way. For me, it was really game changing. Of course, I had to throw my pride away, because I was hurt when she came at me super mad because I didn't do anything wrong. But it's not about who is wrong and who is right in a situation like this. When people come at you and they are really mad, it's more about understanding why they are mad and come to a solution. It doesn't matter if I was in my rights to be there or if she was in her rights to be mad at me. It doesn't matter. The important thing is that you come to a solution, that you try to make some understanding for each other. So I wanted her to understand why I was there and how I could help her. I wanted to understand her problems and why she was mad, or at least how I could help doing my part to give her a better day. So it doesn't matter who is right or who is wrong. Even when people are mad at you, you should still appreciate that they at least talk to you. I think the worst treatment you can get is like a silent treatment, because if you don't get any feedback, it's really hard to improve and really hard to help. So no matter how people come at you, no matter how angry they are and shout at you, and no matter how unreasonable what they say is, you should always appreciate that at least they talk to you about it, and try to create some understanding for both parts. That makes all the difference in the world. So I have 2 exercises for you to help you train how to appreciate people and how to also use this to improve yourself. But before that, if you think it's awesome and you're excited about hearing how to learn to appreciate life a little more, please hit that subscribe button and also like this video. It will really help me, so thank you for that. Okay, so here is the first exercise. This is the hard one, so I will start with that. And if you feel like it's a little uncomfortable and you don't feel like you're ready for it, you can hear it out, and I will also give you a very easy exercise afterwards, which will help you build up and be ready for the hard exercise in time. Okay, so the hard exercise is actually you have to think back at a conflict, maybe in the past week and the past month you had with anyone, like a co-worker, your boss, any bad conflict that you feel like didn't end too well. If you don't know what to take out of that conflict, that's a conflict you should be focusing on. Now you have to think about, why was it a conflict? Like, what was the problem here? And you have to be sincere about it. Like, you can be part of the problem. That's okay. It's okay if you don't feel like it. But you have to be just think about it. Feel, why was this conflict between you and this other person? And okay, so think about, what did the other people say to you? Did they call you lazy? Why was that? Did they make you feel worthless? Why? What? Always think of the why. Why, how and why did they make you feel worthless? Or did they simply just yell at you and call you an asshole or something? Like, there's a lot of conflicts where it doesn't end well and you just end up being super mad at each other, and I believe it's because there is no understanding and people don't appreciate when feelings are high. It can be hard to sincerely say thank you for yelling and shouting at me and being completely unreasonable, but that's part of the exercise here. So now you have to think of a few questions that could help you understand why the other person was mad or angry with you. It could be like, if they call you lazy, it could maybe you could think about, okay, was this reasonable? Was I really lazy? Or why was I lazy in their eyes? And you can end up coming back to them and say like, okay, I see why you called me lazy, but I didn't feel very lazy at this time because I was doing this and this. But what made you say to me that I was lazy? Why did you feel like that? Or it could be something like, if they made you feel worthless or useless, you could come back to them and say, I really got the feeling in our conflict last week that I couldn't do anything right and that you felt like I was complete waste. I just want to know, was it your intention to make me feel like this, and in which areas do you think I could improve? Because I really think that maybe you were onto something. or else you wouldn't tell me. Okay, so questions like that will help you understand the other person, and they will also show the other person that you actually take them serious and that you actually listen to what they have to say. That really helps, and that will tell you what was wrong. So an example could be like if someone tells you you're a complete asshole and you didn't think that was fair, and maybe there was a conflict and it didn't get solved, you could come back and say like, hey John, last time you called me an asshole, I didn't feel like that was reasonable, but what is the reason you think that I'm an asshole? I didn't mean to offend you, but I would really love to hear why this was a problem for you. Remember to say thank you for telling me this, and remember to always appreciate the other person, because when they tell you something, it's actually some real good feedback very often. And if you cut out all the angry parts and all the bad words, or sometimes things just come out in a really bad way, if you cut all this out, sometimes there's some really valuable feedback in what people has to say to you. And remember that angry people are often just super passionate people and super engaged people, which just have a problem. And they can give some really, really good feedback to you that you can think about. Maybe you don't agree with them. That's okay. But at least you understand how they feel about you and why they feel that about you. Maybe you can even make an agreement on how to improve, or sometimes the goal is just for them to understand you. So if they understand why you act in a way that they don't like, sometimes they understand it a lot better, and it won't be a conflict the next time. Sometimes it will always be a conflict, and if they don't want to fix the problem and don't want to help with it, it can be a really, really hard battle. But I think it's always worth to come back and ask for feedback if you don't feel like it didn't end in a good way. Okay, so that was the hard exercise. Okay, I feel it's super, super hard and way out of the comfort zone to go back to a person that you have a serious conflict with that is unresolved, because usually you don't like that person and usually they don't like you. That's often why there was this big conflict, and it's just really hard to talk about. So I also have a much easier exercise that will help you build up the confidence to take these problems head on at a later point in life when you experience them. So the first exercise, like this is super easy exercise, and it's actually just about appreciating things around you and seeing the good things, the good side of life. So I want you probably heard about this super neat trick, but it's really powerful, and I try to use it myself. I'm not really good at it, but when I do, I can really see the difference. So it's all about, it's a gratitude journal. I don't know if you heard about a gratitude journal, but it's basically just every day you write down 5 to 10 things that you are grateful for this day. It can be, I'm super grateful that my wife makes coffee for me in the morning, or my colleague gets me coffee, or I'm super grateful that people say hello to me when we meet. It can be something like, I'm grateful that weather is good. Like right now it's super cloudy here, so but it makes for a good video. So that's really cool. One thing that I'm grateful for in a day like this is that I'm able to film a video outside and have this amazing background with the mountains and green stuff. So every day write down 5 to 10 things that you're grateful for. And do this for every day for maybe 1 week, 2 weeks, and then move on to the next step. There are 3 steps in this journal, and they build up like step by step. So you will start to appreciate the things in life more, and also you will start to involve people in this gratitude journal. Okay, so the next step. Now you have you started to write down what you're grateful for every day, 5 to 10 things. It can be more. If like it's a really good day, you are allowed to just list all the things you're grateful for. But I would say try to find at least 5 things every day. And the next step in the exercise is to start saying them out loud. Now this is a little out of the comfort zone, but that's also what we're trying to do with these exercises, because you need to get out of your comfort zone to start evolving. And it's really weird to say things out loud, like in the office, saying out loud, I'm really grateful that the coffee machine works today. Maybe it works every day, but today you notice that that's a really cool thing. Try not just to write it down in your journal, try to actually say out loud the things you're grateful for. This part of the exercise helps you to not just reflect on your day and write down what you think was good. This helps you to actually realize in the moment what you're really grateful for, what you will write down in your journal tonight. And when you say it out loud, people around you will hear it. And that's a little bit strange at first. But imagine you had a coworker who was always positive. Like he was just coming into a room with this really good mood and just saying, wow, it's really nice to be here and feel the energy. Or he says like, hello, good morning everyone, I really appreciate that you meet in the office at this hour. Something like that. Like imagine a person with a really positive energy. Now if you start saying positive things daily, whenever you experience something that you're really grateful for and you appreciate, you will be this positive person for people around you. Maybe your coworker has a bad day, like started off on the wrong foot or something. And sometimes just a little bit of positivity can have these ripple effects throughout the whole day. So second part of the exercise, start saying things out loud. I would appreciate if you do that. Like it's the coolest thing ever, and it really brings the best out in the people around you. And this leads to step number 3. Okay, so step number 3 is that you have to start include other people in your gratitude journal. So it's not just enough to say, hey, I'm super grateful that the coffee machine works this morning. You have to include people around you. So I'm grateful that my wife cooks dinner for me, or I'm super grateful that my coworkers got to the meeting in time today so we could get started and we could continue. Imagine now this combined with step 2, where you actually say it out loud. Now you start telling people how much you appreciate them being there and what they do for you. And you can even start appreciating sometimes what you can do for them. Like, I really appreciate that I get to make this video, and I really hope that it would change the life for some people. Something like that. Like, I really hope that you take this exercise and start spreading out some positivity. It will help build up your confidence and make you ready for when conflict arrives. So exercises like this, they will help you get ready for when you have a conflict. So imagine now you have evolved into this a lot more positive person because you actually start to notice all the small things in life. And imagine now that someone comes and yells at you or are really angry with you. Instead of not knowing where and how to approach this, now you start seeing all the positive things in what they have to say, like maybe what their problem is or how you can help them. Or at least you will now be curious about it, and you will have the confidence to ask them and actually smile to them and meet them in a good way. Because through months of training with a gratitude journal, where you really try to be grateful for the life around you, you build up a lot of confidence and a lot of positive energy. So when negative energy and negative people hit you, you are ready. You have like this barrier of positivity. So it's way harder to break you, and that's what this exercise is all about. It's like building up and get ready for conflict, while also helping you to appreciate the small things in life. So I feel like this is a really, really easy exercise to get started, because in the start, at step 1, you just have to write down 5 to 10 words, 5 to 10 things every day. Just you can do it in the evening, during the day, whenever you have time. Step 2, you have to say them out loud, but you already know which things you want to write, so you just have to say them whenever you realize that, oh, this is a nice thing. And the third step is that you actually try to involve other people in this. Like, you really have to appreciate other people. So now you're super ready for when a conflict comes. You can actually approach the other person in a healthy and, I would say, sustainable and positive way, no matter how mad they are at you. And that would just help you in any further conflict. When you feel super comfortable with this, you can always go back to the hard exercise and go through some past conflicts. Sometimes it may not be worth to like rip it off if you're okay with that person, but most of the times I would say if you don't feel like the problem is solved, it's always worth to come back and try to make this understanding from both sides. I have a lot more written down, and also all the exercises written down in my blog, so check that. I will put a link in the description for a post about this. Thank you. So mostly all that I've said in this video so far is also in a post, so you can always come back to it. Also, there's a little more there. I had to like take my time here to make a good quality video. So thank you so much for watching. Remember to put that subscribe button, and see you in the next video.